Something happened on February 28, a spiritual shift so profound, so divine, that only the chosen ones could hear it. It wasn't loud. It wasn't broadcasted. But if your spirit was tuned in, you felt it. And if you felt it, this message is specifically for you. You didn't imagine that restlessness in your soul. You didn't dream the sudden flood of emotions, the inner trembling, the unexplainable clarity. On February 28, heaven released a divine call, not to the world, but to the few, the awakened, the marked, the chosen. This day was not just another day on the calendar. It was a doorway, a cosmic alignment, a spiritual checkpoint where destinies began to unfold and secrets buried in your soul started to rise. If you felt unusually sensitive, emotional, or even detached from your surroundings, you weren't alone. You were being summoned. God doesn't shout, He whispers. And those who are His, those who've endured the loneliness, the heartbreak, the rejection, they're the ones tuned in to the frequency of His whisper. February 28 was the whisper of the Almighty, a signal from beyond, a reminder that your time is approaching. This spiritual call is not for the crowd. Not everyone will hear it. In fact, most people didn't even notice. They went about their day, distracted by noise and routine. But you paused. You felt something stir inside. A divine nudge, a sense of urgency in your spirit. That was confirmation. The Spirit spoke directly to you. Why you? Because you've been prepared in silence. Isolated not for punishment, but for purpose. You've been crushed so you can carry more oil. You've been emptied so God could fill you. And now, He's calling you into position. February 28 was a date etched in the spiritual realm. On that day, God activated something within you. You may not see it fully yet. You may not understand the details, but you feel it. A shift, a weight, a pull toward something greater. Your old self began to shed. Your former ways started to feel foreign. The places that once gave you comfort now feel restrictive. Why? Because you're being spiritually upgraded. What was enough for yesterday can't carry you into the season ahead. You're no longer who you were. And February 28 confirmed that. Think back to that day. The emotions you felt. The people who suddenly left. The strange peace that came over you, even in uncertainty. That wasn't random. That was God rearranging your atmosphere, closing doors that no longer serve you, breaking ties with energies that diluted your power, making room for what's about to arrive. Chosen one, you don't need everyone to understand. You don't even need a full explanation right now. What you need is faith. Trust that what you felt wasn't madness, it was divine alignment. The call of February 28 was the beginning of your next chapter. You've been hidden for so long that even you started questioning your own worth. But God doesn't waste preparation. He's been shaping you, chiseling you like a masterpiece. And the time of your revealing is approaching. That's what this call is about. A summons from heaven to get in position, to walk boldly, to speak what you were afraid to say, to step into your mantle. But understand this, when a chosen one is activated, resistance always follows. Since that day, haven't you noticed the attacks increasing? Old temptations resurfacing, spiritual warfare intensifying. That's not a coincidence. That's confirmation. The enemy knows you heard the call. He's terrified of what you're about to do. He knows you've been authorized by heaven. That's why the warfare has ramped up, but so has your authority. You've been given divine immunity. What would have broken you last year has no effect now. What used to trigger you now makes you pray deeper, worship louder, believe harder. You are no longer reactive. You're strategic, no longer fragile, but fortified. You were not overlooked. You were set apart. You weren't delayed. You were divinely timed. February 28 was not just a call. It was a launch sequence. This season is not about proving who you are to others. It's about accepting who you are to God. You've already been validated in the courts of heaven. You've already been selected for this assignment. And no man, no circumstance, no demon in hell can revoke what's already been written. You are the one your bloodline has been waiting for. You carry the anointing to break generational chains, to speak light into dark places, to open spiritual portals that your ancestors only dreamed of. You're not just chosen. You're anointed for such a time as this. And now, the countdown has begun. The next steps will require discipline. The next tests will require discernment. Not everyone who was with you last season can go with you into this one. And not every opportunity is God-sent. This is the time to pray more, fast often, and protect your peace like never before. Because what God is about to birth through you is sacred. The vision that's been gestating in your spirit for years is ready to emerge. What birth requires labor, and labor requires separation. You can't be everywhere. You can't be available to everyone. You must make room. This is why the call wasn't public, why only the chosen ones heard it. Because this assignment is not for the distracted, not for the faint-hearted. It's for those who have been tested in the fire and still chose to trust God. You, chosen one, are the remnant, the torchbearer, the intercessor. And your light is about to shine in places so dark, even you won't understand how God opened the way. But He will. And when He does, you'll remember this moment, this message, this confirmation that you were never crazy, never forgotten, never alone. You were called. The world will never understand how heavy it is to carry divine purpose in a human body, how lonely the path becomes when you can see beyond what others can. They won't understand why you cry in silence or why you pull away when a crowd draws near. They didn't hear the call. You did. And with the call comes the cost. God is now positioning you for spiritual elevation. But understand, before elevation comes separation. Just like February 28 quietly came and went for the world, it thundered in your spirit. A new blueprint was downloaded into your soul. A spiritual instruction said only the chosen were authorized to receive. And now, you're walking with revelation others can't see. That's why they misunderstand you. That's why relationships fell apart. That's why conversations suddenly feel shallow. You're not crazy. You've outgrown your environment. Your soul has matured. And now, you're walking in the realm of the Spirit with eyes wide open. You see things differently now. The people you once chased, you now release. The doors you once begged to open, you now let stay closed. Because when you've heard the whisper of God, you no longer crave the approval of men. The validation of the world no longer seduces you. You're after something deeper, divine fulfillment. The events of February 28 were not external. They were internal. It was an unlocking. A moment heaven whispered, "It's time." That's why, even though nothing around you seemed to change, everything within you did. Your peace became untouchable. Your faith became immovable. Your spirit became unshakable. The transformation had begun. But be warned, the enemy also knows what happened. He felt the shift. He recognized the frequency of that call. And ever since, he's been assigning distractions, illusions, and emotional traps to pull you off course. Because he knows, if you stay in alignment, you're unstoppable. That's why, since that day, you've noticed strange energy coming from people you thought were for you. That's why past wounds are being poked again. The enemy wants to shake your focus, but he's too late. You've already been marked, already been chosen, already been sealed. God is raising you now not for applause, but for impact. The call on your life isn't about status. It's about souls. It's about awakening others who, like you, have been walking asleep in their own story. And soon, your words will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres, not because you're perfect, but because you're anointed. But know this, with divine activation comes divine accountability. You can't live like you used to. You can't ignore your gift. You can't keep shrinking to fit into rooms God never sent you to. You've been called to higher. And when you've been called higher, you must let go of the lower, This is why everything feels uncomfortable, why your spirit feels restless. You're being stretched. God is expanding your capacity. He's preparing you to carry more wisdom, more authority, more responsibility. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. February 28 was your spiritual announcement, not to the world, but to heaven and to hell. God said, "This one is ready." And now the hosts of heaven have gone before you, clearing paths you didn't even know existed, aligning divine connections, blocking counterfeit distractions, rearranging your life for destiny. And as these days pass, you'll notice it more. Your discernment will sharpen. Your instincts will become louder. You'll walk away from conversations without guilt. You'll say no with clarity, because when you're on divine assignment, your yes becomes sacred. You don't have the luxury of wasting energy anymore. Chosen one, listen to me. The loneliness you feel is sacred. The stillness is holy. This is where God speaks loudest, in the quiet. Don't rush out of it. Don't fill the silence. Let the silence speak, because in this divine solitude, you'll hear instructions others missed. You'll receive visions others ignored. You are being built in private for something that will be revealed in public. The world may not know your name right now, but the heavens do. The angels are already walking with you. Divine timing is aligning with divine purpose. You are stepping into your appointed time. And here's the truth. This isn't just about you. You are the answer to someone else's prayer. Someone is waiting for your voice. Your story, your obedience, what you carry will free them, will awaken them, will remind them who they are. Don't hide anymore. Don't second guess. Don't shrink. The world needs what you carry. God didn't choose you randomly. He chose you intentionally. He saw the battles. He saw the losses. He saw the nights you almost gave up. And still, he said, I'm going to use you. And now, that time has come. Walk like you've been chosen. Speak like you've been sent. Love like you've been broken and rebuilt by the hand of God himself. Because that's exactly what happened. Let them wonder what happened to you. Let them talk. They didn't hear the call. You did. February 28 changed everything, even if no one saw it, because what happened in the spirit always precedes what happens in the natural. And soon, they'll see it too. The glow, the favor, the undeniable evidence that God's hand is upon you. Chosen one, you are not late. You are right on time. You are not broken. You are rebuilt. You are not overlooked. You are hidden on purpose. And now, it's time to emerge. The call has been made. The heavens are waiting. The angels are aligned. And God is saying to you, let's begin.